Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a source that takes a piece of advice we hear all the time and just flips it right on its head. You know the ones I'm talking about, right? You see them everywhere. Posters, those motivational speeches, they're all over social media. And the message seems super clear. You gotta believe in yourself. That's the secret sauce, the key to success, the very foundation of confidence.
But what if that's not just wrong but completely backward? The source we're looking at today suggests something pretty radical. It says that the very act of believing in yourself could actually be the one thing standing in the way of real, genuine confidence.
So yeah, it sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? The paradox of self-belief. How can something that sounds so, well, so good, actually, be a trap? Okay, let's get into the core argument and see what this is all about.
Okay, and right here, this is the absolute core of the idea. The source draws a really sharp line in the sand. On one side, you have believing in yourself, which it says is all internal, right? It's based on our own, let's face it, pretty limited knowledge. But on the other side, you have having confidence, and that's framed as something completely different. It's a belief in something beyond us, an external trust. And honestly, this one distinction, it's the key to understanding this whole thing.
So here's the problem, according to this source. When we only rely on our own past experiences, we can get kind of walled off. It's a subtle trap, right? We start thinking our own history is enough to handle whatever's next, even if it's something totally new. And what happens then? Well, we might just stop looking for new ideas, or we might wave away help from other people, all because we've convinced ourselves we've got it all figured out.
Okay, so if true confidence isn't about this ironclad belief in our own abilities, then where the heck does it come from? Well, the source points us in a totally different direction.
Here's the new definition it puts on the table. Real confidence, it isn't something we just cook up in our own minds. It's actually a kind of external trust. It's about placing our faith in something that's outside of our direct control, maybe even outside our complete understanding.
And listen, this might sound a little abstract, but it's really not. Think about your own life. We do this stuff all the time, don't we? You trust a good friend's advice. You have a sense of confidence that a really tough situation is going to work itself out. Or, you trust that gut feeling, that intuition that you can't really explain with logic. All of those? Yep, that's external trust.
Here's a great way to picture it. A little kid who's learning to walk, they don't just believe in themselves and go for it. No way. Their confidence comes from something very real, very tangible. The parent's hands, stretched out, ready to catch them. That is confidence. It's based on something reliable, something external they can trust.
So really, what this all boils down to is a major shift in perspective. It's about moving away from this idea of pure, rugged self-reliance and moving toward recognizing and actually trusting the support systems that are all around us. The people, the guiding principles, even the opportunities that life presents. They're always there.
And what you end up with are two totally different mindsets, two different ways of being in the world. So let's put them side by side, the self-believer versus the confident person. Let's see how their approaches really stack up.
And you can really see the fork in the road right here. The self-believer, they're leaning on their own past, their own reasoning, and that can lead to this closed-off outlook. It can actually make them exclude help, what the source calls Providence, or you could think of it as life's underlying principles. But the confident person? They're looking outward. They're open to advice, and they're trusting that there's a bigger, supportive structure at play.
So when you get right down to it, it's a choice between two very different paths. The path of self-belief, at least as it's defined here, well, it can lead to a kind of isolation. But the path of confidence, that leads to being open, to being receptive, and to feeling connected to a whole world of wisdom and support out there.
Okay, so this all sounds really interesting, right? But the big question is, how do we actually do it? How do we build this more authentic, externally focused kind of confidence? What's the practical path forward?
Well, according to the source, the first big hurdle is us. Turns out, we're kind of the problem. See, we all walk around with an incomplete picture of how the world works. And based on that incomplete picture, we build our own little theories about life. The trouble is, these personal theories are often flawed, and they can lead us down the wrong path, actually getting in the way of our own development.
So the path forward is really about a process of unlearning. Step 1, we got to recognize that our own pet theories about things might just be wrong. Step 2 is about peeling away the layers of ignorance that built those theories in the first place. And finally, step 3 is to try and align ourselves with the fundamental, truly reliable principles that actually govern life.
And really, that's the bottom line. We're not talking about wishful thinking or some kind of fantasy here. True, genuine confidence has to be grounded in reality. It's based on the dependable, unchanging principles of life and nature. It's about learning to trust the system, not just yourself.
And that leaves us with a pretty powerful question to think about. A question for you. What are you really placing your confidence in? Is it just the limited foundation of your own past experiences and reasoning? Or is it in something bigger, more reliable, and external?